Welcome to MiSpot, where we balance, heal, and activate who we truly are. You can call me High Key. And today we are celebrating the new moon in Capricorn. I hope that this energy is allowing you to feel very grounded. And if not, it's a reminder to get grounded. Okay? Grounding helps us balance and, recalibrate our energy so that we can not be too far in the clouds or too boundless. It just allows us to have some balance between like the spiritual realm and the energetic realm with the physical earthly realm. Just allowing us to find a balance of being able to dream but having realistic goals. Okay? So I hope that you're feeling supported in that way. And if not, it's just this energy is calling you to feel more balanced, feel more connected, feel more realistic, feel more wise when it comes to making dreams come true. It's like, are you living in a fantasy or a reality that isn't realistic? Are you living in your head? That's the energy that I get. So I hope that you are either feeling the energy of being more connected and grounded and possibly even loved and supported. But if not, you're feeling called to rise up, to step up, to be more mature, more disciplined, and more realistic, more balanced when it comes to goals and ambitions, and maybe even just how you're living life, how you see your life, or how you are perceiving the world, how you're looking at the world right now. We're being called to be more realistic. Okay? Let's go ahead and ground our energy by starting to take a few deep breaths in through the nose and long exhales out through the mouth, allowing ourselves to get more and more comfortable as we breathe in and breathe out, letting go of stress, tension, strain, any kind of tightness we may be feeling. Allow ourselves to breathe in love, exhale fear, breathe in again, I am loved, releasing fear, I am not afraid. Give yourself another deep breath in. Long exhale out. Continue to breathe in and out as slowly as you need, as many times as you need. Yourself to loosen up your neck and shoulders as necessary. That's where a lot of us carry tension. Just slowly. slowly, just kind of take your time, loosening up your neck and shoulders. This side is a little tight. If you feel any tightness, try to move on the exhale. Pause, inhale, and when you exhale, that's when you move. Tends to help. Oh yeah. All right. Just make sure you're feeling very comfortable and relaxed. Allowing yourself to feel the connection between you and the earth that's underneath you. Whether it be the chair, the floor, the bed, a pillow, whatever you're resting on, whatever you're sitting on, whatever is under your feet, whatever is under your bottom, just allow yourself to kind of melt into that support. So that we allow ourselves to feel supported. We can completely let our guard down. We can completely let our weight just be free, relaxed, completely feeling supported by what's underneath us. Allowing our roots, our foundations, to be very strong and connected to the Capricorn energy. Earthly, grounded, balanced, supported, secure, loved, disciplined, working, earning, planning. I ask our ancestors of divine love to support us as we set the intentions to ground, heal, and activate our energy under this Capricorn new moon. We ask our guardian angels, archangels, ascended masters, our entire spirit teams of love and light, closest to the sun, connected to the Most High, to come in and fully support us. Allow us to feel safe, guarded, secure, protected, loved, and supported. We thank you. Thank you, Mother Earth, for always being our source of grounding. It is done. Hope that neck roll gave some freedom, some relief. If you've been working out or you've been kind of active this week or lately, and you are maybe feeling a little sore or tight, your body's just calling you to shake it off, stretch, and like reset. Okay. All right. So let's jump right into the sky. And let's briefly talk about this Capricorn energy, and then we'll talk about where the planets are. And then I have a surprise at the end where we will be talking a little bit more about long-term growth, long-term goals, and like long-term planning, legacy type planning. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm just getting my heat set up. Okie dokie. So, the theme around this Capricorn new moon is discipline, maturity, as I mentioned, long-term vision, and legacy. Okay? If you are balanced, connected, and aligned with the energy, you could be feeling like you've grown up, like you've matured. You have more discipline with yourself and the choices that you're making. But you could also be feeling wiser, more mature, more grounded, where you have set healthy boundaries because you love and respect yourself, or you recognize letting down certain boundaries at certain times with certain folks or certain spirits. It's not serving your best and highest good. It's actually probably draining you, making you feel less than, and kind of pulling you backwards, making you feel stuck or like you're going in circles. That's the energy, that's the theme around this Capricorn new moon. Capricorn energy is all about structure, responsibility, having authority over our own life, and like building things that last. If you know any Capricorns, they could be very pushy, maybe in your face, can get a little bossy, or maybe even a little in their own head about certain things. The Capricorns I know might have a little bit of FOMO as well, so they try to kind of control certain things. All of us have, you know, a spirit of fear sometimes where our ego tells us that we need to control certain things, and certain signs have certain ways that we control certain things when we may not be balanced in the energy or may not be necessarily healed in certain areas. And I find that Capricorns can tend to have like a FOMO, fear of missing out kind of energy, where they can get maybe a little controlling or manipulative and try to coerce or make people do what they want them to do, or turn or change and do, you know, like kind of manipulate things into what they want, and may not necessarily be holding safe boundaries for themselves even, or for ourselves. So all of us carry some level of, you know, each sign. So all of us carry some level of Capricorn energy in our charts. So Capricorn rules a certain astrological house for each of us, and I'll get into that. But the Capricorn energy, oftentimes, like I said, when we're not balanced, we could find ourselves kind of being controlling or a little manipulative, especially around like earthly or material things. So it could look like an energy of like trying to scare someone into making a decision that you think it might be best for them because they're going to be broke, or they're going to be poor, or they're not going to have certain things. You know, an energy where it's like, well, you need to do this because if not, then you're going to be that. Just like a, you know, like a not a very encouraging kind of energy all the time. That's Alexa talking. But given an energy where, you know, we might be trying to force things, controlling things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it can be malicious or like it's not loving, but it could just be coming from a place of fear or control, and not a place of patience. That's also another place where we could be being challenged, is in our patience. Okay. This new moon in Capricorn is asking us to stop wishing and start structuring. okay? Not from fear or pressure, but from self-respect, self-love, self-worth kind of energy. Knowing who we are, whose we are, what we are, you know? It's a very physical kind of energy, very real life, real time, like the now, very factual, very present, very tangible kind of energy. It's like, okay, well, what's really going on? What's really happening? Okay. All right, let's jump into the sky a little bit here. So, the bigger energetic background, if you will, with this new moon is more so happening within. Okay, it's calling us to reflect, go within, kind of isolate even. You know, it's reminding us to make sure that we know who we are and what we're trying to accomplish, what goals we want to accomplish, what do we ultimately want to either leave behind, pass on, pass down. What do we want people to say about us? You know, when we leave their presence, maybe when we leave the earth, hopefully that's no time soon. But just what do we want people to walk away from us with? What do we want them to carry with them when they leave our presence, or maybe even our lives? Okay. So Mercury right now is in the sign of Capricorn. So you could be feeling very balanced, very supported, very secure and mature in your communication. You could be even learning things or taking in information, whether it be reading or even writing, just finding a more elevated, more mature level of communicating. That's the general energy for all of us. Mercury has a very fast moving energy. The energy of Mercury moves quickly. Communication, information, and things like that. Social media can even be tied up in the energy of Mercury. So of course, those of us that have Mercury as a ruling planet, or we have Mercury in a astrological house that's very prominent, could possibly be with other signs or at certain degrees or in some type of trine or sextile, just basically allowing us to feel that energy. It may not run very deep. It could be very surface. This energy could be teaching us how to speak towards very surface level information. We might be looking past what's on the surface, looking deeper into communication, like almost like paying attention or listening to what a person did not say. We could be just realizing how we maybe even talk to ourselves, what we tell ourselves, what our own mindsets are, and just kind of working through the energy to be better, honestly, to have a better mindset, to be more mindful of how we're talking to ourselves. But also, I get this energy of learning how to speak to low vibrational energy, learning how to speak to things that are not in alignment, learning how to speak life, even death if necessary, when it comes to certain energies, certain spirits. Okay? How do our thoughts support or sabotage our long-term goals? Like what's going on around us that could be creating certain thoughts or creating certain habits, or you could be hearing certain levels of communication that's just not supporting what you're trying to ultimately get to. That's a confirmation even for me. You could be recognizing how certain people may be talking around you, talking towards you, where you may not be feeling very supported, very loved, very encouraged, you know, and you might be realizing that you have to give that to yourself right now. So some of that isolation is calling us to go within and really speak better to ourselves, learning how to speak to our own negative thought patterns and behaviors that are sabotaging us from moving forward. That's it. Venus is in the sign of Aquarius. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, attraction, values. We could even throw relationships, all kinds of relationships in there. And definitely our money mindset. Venus definitely rules money. And of course, with this Mercury energy, it's challenging us on how we think about money, how we think about relationships, and what we are truly valuing. Our actions, even our words, are they aligning with what we truly value? Okay, it's kind of bringing me back to the energy that I heard from 19 Keys just a few weeks ago about how people that are stuck, if we feel stuck in a certain energy, it's because we're not living a life that's aligned with how we think about life. If you feel stuck or you feel like you're going in circles, it's because what's really happening is not what you either believe or in your mind or in your heart. Like, what's really happening is not in alignment with what you think and believe. You're living a different life other than the life that you believe in or the way that you think about life. You're not living that life. Okay? So Venus is asking us to, ask ourselves, or asking us, where have we matured financially? Where have we matured emotionally? Like I said, tying back to that Mercury energy of learning how to speak to things, learning how to speak life or darkness to certain energies. Okay. That's what Venus is doing for us now. Venus also can move pretty quickly. Venus is a planet, that has a very short transit. I like to kind of tie it to emotions, even communication, and just kind of showing us how easy it can be for love to show up surface level, like that love bombing kind of energy. Or Mercury can also be showing us how, like, people who have a gift of gab, like the fast moving Mercury energy can show you how, like, people who have like a gift of gab, it's just talk. It's just talk. That's kind of the Mercury and Venus energy that I can get as far as them being quick moving planets. It doesn't mean that they don't have very healthy, grounded, and long-term aspects. It's just more that they move so quickly that it kind of makes us have to dig a little bit deeper and scratch beyond the surface when it comes to certain levels of communication and certain relationships or certain love. Even money. Like I said, there are things that can come quickly. I'll just put it like that. With these energies, it's not a bad thing. It just kind of reminds me that if I'm looking, or I know that I am transitioning into a better being, I'm growing spiritually, I'm maturing financially and emotionally, it just lets me know that I have to be mindful of surface level energy like that. People will come and talk to you because they want to get close to you, so they'll tell you things that you want to hear, or they think that you want to hear. They may, try to love bomb you, maybe shower you with gifts or compliments and things like that because they just want to get close to you, get near your energy. Where over time, if you continue to see certain things, you'll be able to tell whether that energy was BS or whether that energy was actually authentic. Okay, that's authenticity is definitely it's actually my word for 2026. No, actually that was my word for 2025. My word for 2026 is surrender. But there is a level of authenticity happening right now that is, it's those of us who are focused on spiritual growth, like that you want to heal from the inside out, that you want your soul to grow. You're not afraid of doing your shadow work. You're not afraid of digging into your pain. You're not afraid of dissecting things. Like I said, we're being called to go within. It's definitely a place where we're just learning how to be better. You know what I mean? I kind of lost my train of thought. I was talking about Venus and Mercury But either way, we're elevating, and this energy is like just teaching us, or it's showing us and exposing us to how we've grown, and realizing that certain energies, and it may not be like intentionally malicious or to try to hurt you or anything like that. It's just that many people, many spirits they haven't gotten to this place for themselves. They haven't been able to give themselves this kind of energy. So they want to suck it from us, drain it from us. Like I said, it doesn't always have to be intentional. It can be very subconscious. But a lot of us are still stuck in survival mode when it comes to certain areas of our lives, certain aspects of ourselves. We're stuck in survival mode. And those of us who are intentionally healing, intentionally working through our wounds, you're being able to see so clearly, like your third eye is so open. You've cracked open your pineal gland, like you've broken off the callus and all of the crap from the matrix and from the sunken place, and you can see the spirits like much more blatantly, and you're not as triggered by them as you may have been this time last year. You're definitely realizing that you're responding differently, and you're responding from a more calm and grounded place versus emotional surface level place. Excuse me. Authenticity is what we've been able to see. It's like we have a better lens. Our authenticity lens, our authentic lens has been cleared, and it's squeaky clean now, where you can see. And even when you see the phoniness or the fakeness or the pretending, you don't even respond to it the same. You almost know how to speak to it, where you kind of shut it down. It actually knows that it can't even get near you. It doesn't even have the time of day when it comes to messing with you. Okay. Mars, the planet of action, motivation, and discipline, could be helping us to feel more focused right now. But if the energy is not in alignment, it can make you feel more scattered. So that's where you definitely want to make sure that you're grounding more. You're making sure that you may even have to be a little more isolated, a little more to yourself. It's going to help to stay more focused. It's giving the energy of, like, if you're around too many different energies too often, too much, it can make you feel kind of scattered and confused. And that's, if you're feeling that way, that's the reminder to isolate. Just remember that you're never alone. Okay, you're never alone. You're never alone in spirit. And even on earth, when you think that you're by yourself, there's always someone either going through the same thing, been through the same thing, or you might be able to help them not go through the same thing. So you're never alone. You're never alone spiritually, and you're never really alone on earth. There's always somebody who has either been through it, been through worse, going through it, or you can help them not go through it. Okay, so are you scattered or are you focused? All right, that's what Mars is going to be highlighting for us. Mars is a very, driven energy. And so Mars will kick things off. Mars will burn things up. And you want to make sure that with this energy, you're allowing it to support you to be focused. Okay. We'll jump to, so Jupiter, the planet of growth. This energy with Jupiter and this Capricorn new moon is asking us to grow through responsibility versus like excess, like overdoing things, trying to hoard things, or become greedy. It's allowing us to focus on like a slow, steady growth, like a wealthy growth. That's how I look at wealth. I think wealth is built. It's built. I don't want to even say slowly, because I feel like some things take off, but it's your energy and the intention that you have behind the wealth that you're building is not from a hurry up and like a get rich quick kind of scheme. It's very responsible, it's very disciplined, it's very focused, but it knows what it's doing. Like it's very well educated. Like you may be educating yourself in certain areas where you're becoming more confident in what you know and what you've learned, and so now you can grow responsibly versus like just trying to gobble up as much as you can, because that greed also comes from like a scarcity mindset, a poverty mindset, okay, a spirit of lack kind of mindset will cause us to have this greed versus growth. All right, I hope that makes sense. Expansion through emotional or intellectual maturity. And that's why working through the Mercury and Venus, the communication and the love that is surface level, you're being supported with this Jupiter moon, Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, just allowing us to expand through emotional healing, emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, and intellectual knowledge, intellectual growth, intellectual maturity. Like we're just growing up. We're just grown up. I mean, okay, we're just growing up. You know, it's like get right or get left. And then Saturn, which is Capricorn's ruler. Saturn, you know, is the backbone of this new moon. Saturn is the planet of change, karma, boundaries, responsibility, accountability, leadership. Like Saturn, I do from what I've been studying over the last couple years with astrology, I like Saturn's energy. I really do. Saturn has a very like, I bet you won't kind of kind of energy. I bet you won't. Like, not to try you, but it's almost like I'm so grounded. The energy of Saturn is like, I'm so grounded and so connected to what I know is true and real and what I know to be like fact and proven. You can't come over here thinking that you're going to play in my energy and not catch it. You can't come over here thinking that you're going to come over here and play in my energy and not have boundaries or disrespect my boundaries, or you're going to come over here and not be accountable, or you're going to come over here and, you know, not be a team player or someone who is looking to grow and expand or be a leader or communicate. Like all the fluffy, fake, phony, pretending stuff, you ain't gonna come over here and do. And if you come over here and do that in this Saturn energy, it's going to come back to you so quickly, so fast, like a boomerang, and it's going to be 10 to 100 times, even probably more, worse. It's not the energy you want to play with, especially when it comes to like earthly things, earthly possessions. You'll lose everything. You'll lose your home, you'll lose your car, you'll lose your job. I don't mean to trigger anybody with that, because a lot of people are having a hard time and really, really struggling. And that's why I'm going to talk about how we're going to build our wealth and continue to build our wealth this year. But right now, the seeds we're planting under this new moon, what we are manifesting, new moons are for manifesting. What do you want to see over the next 6 to 12 months? That's what you're manifesting right now. And if you're going to use the energy in a good way, in an aligned way, in a healthy way, then you want to make sure you're planting seeds that are going to allow your material, earthly possessions, worth, growth to expand. You want to be planting seeds that are going to allow you that in a sacred, loving, good news kind of way. We're not looking to manipulate anything. We're not looking, like I said, no type of get rich quick kind of schemes. Just being able to connect to the energy of balance, the patience, and the steady. That's the word. There's a steadiness, a consistency that comes with Capricorn energy. It's like, you know, being repetitive, being in routine, being able to do the same thing over and over and over again, like a rinsing and repeat, we call it even in the stock market. That's the energy. That's the energy. Saturn doesn't push, it trains. Whatever feels heavy right now is strengthening your spiritual muscles. It's like you're going through the lesson so that you can pass the test. You're going through the lessons so that you can receive the blessings. You're going through the lessons so that you know how to respond in the next test. You know how to respond when this energy comes up again. And you're allowing yourself to really be connected and loved and aligned with the energy of Capricorn, this Capricorn new moon that's allowing us to manifest and plant seeds of earthly growth, physical, material, financial growth. Okay. It also, of course, one of my favorite scriptures is that I wish you, in good health and all that you prosper as your souls prosper. So I always look at it as we prosper as our souls prosper. And that says to me that the more inner work I do, the more work that I do internally, the more of my shadow I deal with, the more of my pain, the more of my weaknesses, the more of my low vibrational energy that I can work through, the more money I'm attracted to, or that's attracted to me, the more wealth, the more peace. And like I said, it's not just money as in, green. It's also just like a elevated life, a life that is above average, a life that is, unfortunately, depending on certain cultures, people around you may not even be accustomed to. It might even be something new for you and your family members. That's this energy. It's like that's it. I can't even, that's it. All right. So let's see here. We're going from survival mode to legacy mode. All right. Self-authority over validation. That's a crucial one too. We're not, those codependency wounds that we've been healing through and working through, we're learning how to validate ourselves, becoming the person that we want to date, becoming the person that we want to be in a relationship with, becoming our best self so that we can attract someone who is on the same level, which is going to mean that we have to be able to work through all the surface level stuff. Okay, knowing how to ask questions, knowing how to communicate, knowing how to have healthy or even courageous conversations. All right, releasing procrastination, releasing the fear of responsibility, and definitely releasing any type of self-doubt. Knowing that we deserve it, knowing that we can have it, knowing that we're attached to it and aligned to it. We don't have to feel like we have to do any type of scamming, or I don't know why that came out, but any type of like manipulation. It's like you are confident in the steadiness of it. It's the wintertime here in the northern hemisphere, so it's not the energy where you want to be doing a whole lot of movement, fast movement, especially reckless, quick movement. You want to be very grounded, very consistent, and very steady. All right, you do want to be making movements, but you want to be very routine and regimen about your movements. Okay, so some journal prompts that might be good under this Capricorn new moon is, where do I need more structure? What am I avoiding that actually builds my future? All right, and what does maturity mean for me now? All right, it's a good place to like self-reflect, journal, and then maybe writing the intentions that you have and you want to set, or what you want to plant under this Capricorn new moon. All right, let's jump into how each house, or how each sign is impacted by this Capricorn new moon. So Capricorn, of course, this moon is, what's the word? I don't want to say highlighting. It is highlighting, but it's not like the full moon. The full moon highlights. The full moon kind of like shines a light, like a spotlight on the energy. Whereas the new moon is like a blank slate, like a clean slate. So this moon is allowing you to plant seeds. It's allowing you to manifest. It's allowing you to create something new. It's giving you a clean slate, a blank slate, a start over. Okay, so it's like, what do you want to start over with? What do you want to plant new energy with? What type of new energy seeds do you want to plant, if that makes sense? So Capricorn, this moon is highlighting your first house of identity and your self-concept, your purpose, your career. Okay, and it's just allowing you to decide, maybe where you want to be more purposeful. Where do you want a new beginning? It could even be in how you're perceived, how people see you, how people look at you, your identity, like who you want to be known as. What do you want to leave behind, right? So your focus is going to be a personal reinvention. You're embodying your responsibility, like you're taking authority, you're taking ownership of how you're seen, how you're looked at. You could be communicating, maybe like you be called to communicate areas where maybe you feel like you've fallen short in relationships. You could be feeling, compelled or called to express something that just allows you to not just feel better, but you're having a energy of, it's like a flood a little bit. Like coming in, like the words are just like flying in, but you're being called, or your heart, your mind is calling you to express yourself, to express something that you may have been holding on to, or something that you want to clarify when it comes to how you're looked at, how you're perceived. You might want to have an identity that's more based in purpose. You may feel like you want to be known as someone who has a deeper level of purpose or sense of self. Maybe you could have been very material focused, and now you want to have something that's just a little more meaningful than just things. You want to have more. You want to have more substance. You want more of what's not seen. You want more of like the good news, all things eternal. That's the energy that I get for Capricorn. Okay. Aquarius, this moon will be allowing you a fresh start, new soil to plant seeds regarding your subconscious, your healing, your mindset. Definitely calling you to focus on your spiritual discipline, releasing any areas where you self-sabotage, and really allowing your mind to be like set free and set clear. Like relax your mind, girl, be set clear. Yeah, you ain't nothing nice. It's like you're just becoming more aware, and you're being called to lean into it. You're being called to not be afraid of it, even if it requires you to isolate, even if it requires you to not be around people as much. It's helping you to release any ways that you hinder yourself or stop yourself from the goals you want to achieve in the future. It's calling you to kind of step out on a limb, do something different. All right. Pisces, this moon is highlighting your 11th house of friendship, community, aspirations, future goals, right? That's big Capricorn energy too. What do you want ultimately? What do you desire? What are your future goals? What do you want to see in the next 6 months? What do you want to see in the next 12 months? What do you want to see in the next 6 years? When it comes to like who you're around, the groups that you might be a part of, the groups that you may find yourself around all the time, like, you know, really asking yourself, are those groups and those people, those friendships, are they really helping you achieve your goals? Are they really helping you to aspire? You know, are you in the right community and connected to the right network to achieve the goals that you have and want for yourself? Building aligned networks and visions. That's your focus, Pisces. All right. Who's next? Aries. Aries, this moon is giving you a clean slate to manifest in your 10th house. Your 10th house of career, reputation, leadership, authority. All right. Also a very aligned energy with Capricorn. Very conservative, very disciplined and driven. You're being asked to focus, Aries, and plant seeds that will help you step into authority, will help you better or sharpen your public identity, your public image, how you look as well in your career, your reputation. Okay? Step into authority. Plant seeds of authority. Authority to me is ownership. Taking ownership. It could also have an element of leadership. But authority is like governance. It's like balance. It's checks and balances. It's security. It does have an energy, like a disciplined kind of energy, like to be authoritative or to take authority is to like hold certain rules, certain boundaries, certain expectations, to hold ourselves and others accountable. It's like laying down the law. That's kind of the energy. So Aries, you could be planting seeds of, like, just like I said, more discipline. Spiritual law could also be something, but it could even be like law and career. Like you may be studying something, you may want to be a lawyer, you may want to come more in alignment with the law when it comes to certain things. Like I said, spiritual law is screaming, but I also get like a like practical law, like governance law, like having principles and things that you stand for, like making sure that your authority is respected. It's not looked at loosely because you stand like on it. You stand on business with it. You hold certain values, you hold certain laws that you're not going to break, that will make you look different, like where people won't respect you. They may think that your word is trash, or you're planting seeds where you're breaking away from any type of spirits that stop you from looking good authentically in your career and reputation. All right, Taurus, this moon is highlighting your 9th house. Your 9th house of philosophy, higher education, beliefs, and our vision. It could even include like traveling, being adventurous, All right. So Taurus, your focus here is your long-term faith, your long-term vision, your long-term beliefs. What do you believe in over time? What do you think happens with certain beliefs over time? And allowing yourself to bring those things to fruition. You are educating yourself, you're learning more, and it's allowing you to walk and think more truthfully. You're able to respond from a more authentic, truthful place. You're being called to make sure that you're checking in with your beliefs, what you stand for, what you believe in, and seeing the long-term goals and the long-term effects of you continuing to hold that space, to stay grounded and be disciplined in that, recognizing what is truth, recognizing your truth, and allowing that to free you, allowing that to bring you more light, allowing that to connect you with what you want to achieve in the long term. Releasing and detaching from anything that's not allowing you to expand authentically and truthfully. All right, Gemini, this moon is highlighting your 8th house of transformation. All right, shared resources, your investments, areas of intimacy. You're definitely putting endings to things that are like weighing you down. It could even be like debt. But because you're like freeing up debt so that you can invest. You are definitely more aware of your emotional entanglements, or you're being called to step more into this transformation, plant seeds under this Capricorn new moon that are going to allow you to release debts, let go of any type of thoughts that aren't serving you, any type of communication that's not serving you. It's not allowing you to grow. It's not allowing you to dead the past so that you can move into the future. Things that are like holding you back, holding you down, stopping you from connecting with those that are resourceful for you, stopping you from connecting and sharing with those that are on the same level, same timeline, or in alignment with you, where you can build things. You're releasing any type of emotional entanglements that are not in alignment with your transformation and what you ultimately want to achieve long term. Okay, Gemini. Cancer, this moon is highlighting your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, and public enemies. It's where you're being called to be more diplomatic, more balanced. Your focus is mature relationships and having boundaries in love. You're being supported with Jupiter. Also, Cancer, Jupiter is allowing that expansion, allowing that growth. Okay, so don't be afraid to like grow up and to mature. Just making sure that you have boundaries that you are standing firm on, especially in love and emotions, because Jupiter being so expansive, we could kind of overdo it. We could be a little greedy, and we kind of let our guard down in certain things or certain areas, and it's not really smart. It's not very mature. It comes off very immature even. So we just want to make sure that we have the support, but we are being balanced and setting boundaries that show that we're mature in relationships. And we're not just on the surface or dealing with people or spirits from a surface level. All right, Leo, this moon is this moon is giving you a clean slate in your 6th house of health, daily routines, habits, service, could be work even. Okay, your focus here is to have more discipline in your daily routines and caring for your body. This Capricorn new moon should definitely support you there. It's you have the earth energy supporting you in this house, allowing you to be grounded, practical, maybe focusing a little bit more on the details. Yeah, having more discipline in your daily routines and body care. So calling you to be consistent, be routine, and having better habits, more healthy habits or healthier habits. All right, Virgo, this moon is highlighting your 5th house. Your 5th house of creativity, romance, joy, childhood. And the focus is for you to take your gifts seriously. Okay? Take your creativity seriously. Be brave. Be a leader. Be a creative leader. Show creative leadership, Virgo. It's calling you to kind of grow up as well. Making sure that you're not being immature with how you're responding or even not responding. Making sure that you're being fair. And maybe getting creative, like thinking outside of the box when it comes to solving certain problems. Those problems or those things that you might have to solve could be in romantic relationships, or even like relationships with children, or even our own relationship with our childhood. You might be being called to break away from something, breaking away from like some norm or something that was done that you was used to, or something to that effect. Okay. Libra, this moon is highlighting your 4th house of home, family, roots, your emotional foundation. You could be feeling a little emotional right now with the moon. Hopefully you're able to balance that energy out and not feel too overwhelmed. But call on your intuition, call on the Holy Spirit, call on your best and highest self. You can do that by tapping into your heart space and into your mental, and just making sure they're in alignment. Hopefully you're not feeling very stuck, Libra, but if you are, you could definitely be being called to trust yourself more, trust your wisdom, trust your discernment. It could be with family or with how you were brought up or raised. Like just kind of reflecting and dissecting some of those emotional, foundational principles, like things that just kind of happened or were the way that they were. We didn't have control over, like as children. And like maybe you're seeing how this could be affecting your stability, like your inner security or your insecurities, or like how you feel about yourself internally, your self-worth, your self-respect. There's also a focus on ancestral healing with this energy. Okay, Libra. So find some balance there. This is definitely screaming like childhood, maybe even shadow work kind of energy. You could also just do a meditation where you could be introduced to your spirit team, or you could be called to reconnect with your spirit team, your ancestors. It's probably going to give you more support, stability, security, and making your foundation feel more secure than you think. Okay? It's probably scary, but it's going to give you more strength and balance in the long run. All right, Scorpio, this moon is highlighting your 3rd house of communication, information, and mindset. And your focus is to speak with intention and have more disciplined thinking. That says to me to be mindful of your thoughts This is definitely screaming self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? How do we talk to ourselves? Okay. There could be a mindset shift that you're being called to plant. You're being called to plant a seed that's going to allow you to be more intentional with your communication, allowing you to have a more disciplined mindset. Maybe even you're learning to like speak up for yourself, or even speak your mind. Maybe speaking what you're thinking, but allowing yourself to ensure that you're communicating from a disciplined space. Like you're not responding from a surface emotional level. You've really allowed yourself to sit. You allowed yourself to meditate. You've allowed yourself to kind of marinate with certain things, and you're getting the words, you're getting the language, the communication. Like you're knowing, it's like God's giving you the words to say. All right. And you're recognizing that when your thoughts are not serving you, you're learning how to speak to those thoughts, or at least you're being called to plant a seed that's going to help us learn how to talk or respond to our negative thoughts without escapism, without delusion, allowing ourselves to really be grounded in the present and accepting the transformation that's happening. All right. And then Sag, this moon is highlighting your second house of money, values, possessions, self-worth, and you're being called to focus on your financial maturity, getting a sustainable income. All right. You may be becoming more financially literate, growing, learning, maybe even being more disciplined with finances. Okay. Or at least allow yourself to plant a good seed, a manifesting seed of what you want to see over the next 6 to 12 months financially. It could be writing it down. It could be meditating on it. It could also be saying it out loud, like actually getting like a number, you know, of what's good for you, what's a good income, like just being realistic with it. Okay, so you can bring it to fruition. You can actually make it happen. Okay, you can turn your like thoughts and your goals and your dreams into like real, tangible, physical things here on earth. All right, which is a perfect segue to what I want to talk about next. I'm going to pull a couple of cards, but then I'm going to, oh no, I'm going to allow us to, I'm going to pull some cards, but I want to jump into how this Capricorn energy is perfect alignment for something that's been on my heart for a while, which is guiding people into different streams of income, allowing us to recognize if we are connected to the energy of being wealthy, managing millions, passing things on to our children, creating generational wealth. That's the energy that I know for sure that I'm being called to share. And I know that, like I said, this Capricorn energy, Capricorns have always had a good work ethic, definitely can be very routine, almost to like a fault. Excuse me. My eye has been going through it this week, but it's getting better. Yeah, so that'll tie us into that. So I'll go ahead and pull a Moonology card, maybe a Rumi, and even an angel number. Can somebody tell me why my Zoom does not tell you how long you've been recording? I think that is so strange. But whatever. It's probably been over an hour, maybe. Oh shoot. Okay. Moonology got something to say. I see communication is key. New moon in Gemini popped out. All right. Holy Spirit, ancestors of divine love and healing light, please protect us as we download the messages for our best and highest good. Anything that's not for our best and highest good, please close, shut, lock, and block that door in the name above all names. Amen. We're going to do this one more time. All right. All right. I think, I think we got 3. Surrender to the divine. I saw the word surrender and I got excited. Full moon. So this upcoming full moon, which will be in, we already had a Cancer, so it'll be in Leo. So Aquarius season, we'll have a full moon in Leo. Surrender to the divine, full moon. Have faith in your dreams. Oh my goodness, who did this come up for? There was somebody was being called, one of the signs was being called to long-term faith, like beliefs. Was that Taurus? Have faith in your dreams. Waning crescent moon. Sorry, waxing crescent moon. It's time to take action. New moon in Aries. It's time to take action. That came up earlier too, and I was talking like we're moving, but we're moving in a steady, consistent, repetitive, routine kind of way. We're not all over the place. We're being very intentional with our energy and our movements. Surrender to the divine. I think I want to probably read all 3 of these, and then maybe we'll just, I really like to do Rumi. It's a new moon. Maybe we'll see. We'll see where the Holy Spirit takes us. Yeah, Aquarius season starts here soon. Actually on MLK, well, we observe MLK on January 19th, which is tomorrow. So there's going to be some very, you're going to be feeling very motivated within. Like you're going to be like connected to your dreams, wanting to bring your dreams to fruition. You're going to be like inspired to take action, make things happen. But it's going to be in a very like grounded, like down to earth kind of way. You know? Very secure, very loving, very stable energy. Okay. Aquarius definitely has a lot going on this week too. Mercury is going into Aquarius, and so is Mars. They're both in Capricorn, so that's what's next. So like I said, that isolation, that being alone, like, you know, quote unquote alone, a lot of us could be feeling that energy, okay? You could be feeling like, I just don't want to even tell anybody anything. I just want to focus on what I need to do, and I'll holler at them in the summertime. That kind of energy, okay? Which is good. That's not a bad thing for us right now. We're being supported by the sky, the planet, and the season to be in that season. Okay. All right. Surrender to the divine. Full moon. I'm excited. Page 32. Oh my God. Why is that? What do I have in there? Okay. Surrender to the divine. Full moon. I don't think I've ever gotten this card. Hold on. My stuff be jacked up over here sometimes. Okay. The very word climax brings all sorts of ideas and images to mind. Agreed. But it really is the feeling of this card. Life is coming to a head, a point, a conclusion, or a turning point. There may be some kind of change and possibly even some sort of emotional explosion. Tune into your emotions now and see what they are telling you. They're very likely close to the surface, no matter when in the moon cycle you've pulled this card. Matters will soon conclude, and you'll find out whether or not your wishes are going to come true. The odds are in your favor, and this is a positive card, but you may need to work harder than usual to keep cool as events unfold. Attune to the moon. I am getting the answers I need. Additional meanings for this card. A wish you made may be about to come true. It's make or break time. There could be a sense of madness in the air. Breathe deep and stay calm. You may need to forgive someone to release negative energy. It's time to let go of the past and move on. The teaching. The full moon marks the climax of the lunar cycle, making this card something of a power card. The full moon is often the time when answers are given to questions asked during the new moon. And pulling this card at any time in the lunar cycle suggests answers will be coming your way before too long. This is the summation that I get behind this Capricorn energy. I don't even think I need to read Have Faith in Your Dreams and It's Time to Take Action. Those cards have probably come out recently. But this one here, Surrender to the Divine, I haven't seen this card in a very long time, if ever. And what I'm taking from this is have faith in your dreams and take action on them. Just perfect alignment. Surrender to the divine, have faith in your dreams, and it's time to take action. Surrendering to the divine is what these moon cycles help me to do. When there's energy or things that are challenging that I may not run towards naturally because I may not feel as safe and secure, I may feel like, that's an area of a weakness for me. When I connect with these different moon phases and where the planets are, it allows me to embrace that energy. So it allows me to actually be more obedient to God's spirit because he's taking me through these different seasons and these different phases to prepare me. And it's allowing me to not run from it, escape from it. It's allowing me to just trust it, to be present, and to know that that's the energy that we're in and we're being called to be in or we're being challenged by, and to really surrender to it, like completely. There's relationship changes, there's family dynamics, there's friendships. Things are changing. And we're growing, we're expanding, and we're realizing what's not in alignment anymore. And so what we're being called to do is understand that all the answers to the questions that we have today, that we're planting seeds of knowledge on, or revelation, things we want revealed to us, those things are coming. But our dreams are also coming true. So it's like the energy saying, stand firm on what you believe in. Don't fall for anything. There's this, saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. It's like we're being highly encouraged to stand on our beliefs, to not sway on what we believe in. It's just not the season to be in that kind of energy, because all you're going to do is recreate those things or recreate those spirits of confusion, those seeds of lack in the next 6 to 12 months. And then hopefully you'll get another chance to do it again or do it right. But right now we're being supported with manifesting our dreams and taking action on it. Being responsible, being disciplined, and being in routine. All right. Have faith in your dreams, take action, and surrender to the divine. On the bottom of the deck, you and your loved ones are safe. This actually came out last week, I believe. May have come out twice in the last month or so. New moon in Cancer. So I'm getting that we're going to have a very powerful full moon in Aquarius. I'm sorry. It'll be Aquarius season, but the moon will actually be in Leo. The full moon will be in Leo. So look forward to Aquarius season. Look forward to the energy of the full moon in Leo during Aquarius season. Continuing to focus on your dreams, have faith in your dreams, and not being afraid to take action. Making sure that we understand that standing firm on our beliefs and standing firm on what we want is ultimately going to help us in that area. It's going to allow us to free ourselves, and recognizing that, like, by standing on business, we're actually creating space for really what's in alignment. Like, not being afraid to speak the truth, not being afraid to maybe even speak how we've been feeling for a very long time. Like, these aren't surface level emotions. These are things that we've been seeing and feeling and knowing even for a long time. And you may be feeling or getting the words to express it. And you're going to be like set free. That truth is going to set you free, possibly set others free as well. But it's definitely going to allow you to make room for what is in alignment with you and clearing out anything that's not. That's the energy. All right, let's pull a Rumi and some angel numbers, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of the stock market. Hopefully that won't last too long. You know what? I'll do Rumi under the full moon, because I don't want these to be super duper lengthy. We are coming out of any type of spirit of lack or lack mindset. Okay? We're coming out of it. Let's see what angel numbers the Holy Spirit has for us. Ooh, 1111. It's just on the bottom. 0303 777. Oh, okay. Got something to talk about. All right. Come on, numbers, since we got to talk numbers. I was about to say. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right, we got a few. Let me make sure none flipped over that I missed. All right. So first two count face down. 1441. Unique skills, life goals, mission, sense of self, honesty, important projects. It's that time of intense self-development. Hallelujah. Focus your mind on your craft. You already have what it takes to succeed, but practice makes you a master. It also serves to find your true purpose. Leveling up in your career or business is of priority right now. Come on, God. Tapped in, okay? Talk about alignment, baby. Baby. 0220. Act on your idea. Look, come on, God. Realistic and practical approach. Goals. Divine timing. Ambition. Cooperation. Discipline. You have the benefit of good fortune, and if you use your wise judgment, you can do anything. In this place, you can reach new heights. You should act on your potential when you see this pattern, since what you're okay. This is a typo in here. You should act on your potential when you see this pattern, since what you plant will grow. You're about to experience a spectacular ascent. Come on, we claim that in the name of Jesus. Yes, 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 yes. 0404. Slow down. Balance, power struggle, force, violence, hope, authority, ancestors, restlessness, low vibrations, warning. Pay close attention to the people in your life, your surroundings, and your physical health. Don't freak out. It's just a warning to be careful and awake to avoid further issues. Communicate clearly and keep healthy boundaries. Did we not just say this? Did we not? This is the season that we're in. Hopefully, I know the focus is a little weird. But this is the season we're in. It's Capricorn is supporting us in this energy. We also have a bunch of fours out here, which is angel protection, divine protection. So we're thankful for that. And ones and zeros, which also show death and rebirth and like closing out of cycles and starting new cycles, or like endings, creating new beginnings. That's that death and rebirth to me. 0550, the eye candy. Intuition, inspired action, beauty, art, socializing, flow, potential, romance. Get some fresh air or call some of your pals over. Take a look around you. There is so much natural beauty waiting to be discovered. Either you will soon become involved in an exciting new project, or you will go out on a date. Put your charisma to use everywhere. Spread your charm around. I'll be spreading my charm around. I have a list of folks that I want to bless, and so I'll be doing that in this season as well. All right. Those zeros and fives are a positive change. Those zeros also showing us that a cycle has been closed. On the bottom of the deck, 555, change. Come on. Encouragement, support, obstacle, battle, calling, restructuring, creative work. That's the energy. You are going to level up, ! It might not feel good initially, but it will prepare you to handle the greater things in life for your highest good. That is the why you've been looking for. Push through it. There's a reward waiting at the finish line. Thank you, God. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for the confirmation. We on it. We on it over here. Okay. Now, let's jump into the stock market. So I was sharing in a few videos about how I could go on and on about things, but what I ultimately want to do is to share with you. So tomorrow is MLK Day, so we will be off for the holiday, and the market will be closed. But what we want to do every Sunday on the channel, we'll figure out how it works, but I would love to be able to create like it's next level manifesting. So in addition to the moon cycles, I want to create an investment group, like a stock club where I will share with you price points that I'm going to be buying. So this is not financial advice or anything like that. I'm just going to be sharing with you what I'm going to be doing in the market, and you're more than welcome to either follow or learn how to follow along so that you can do what's best for you. All right, so I will be sharing information on why I'm making certain decisions in the market. I will say that I do have a construction background. I have an engineering background. I study civil engineering. I have a civil engineering BS up there from the good old Morgan State University in the lovely Baltimore, Maryland. But I study civil engineering. I've been working in construction I'll be celebrating 20 years this year. And I've managed literally billions of dollars in construction projects over the last 20 years. And what I have learned, I've always been pretty much a big dreamer. I've always had big dreams. I come from a family of women who were pretty strong and independent to some extent, but definitely knew what they wanted to do when it came to work. And they weren't afraid to go after what they wanted to do when it came to work. So now I'm kind of like, getting over the hill, if you will. Not quite there, but I'm focusing on my next phase of life. And one of the things that I wish that somebody would have told me when I was 18, 21, 25, maybe even 30, but it's all good because we continue to grow, is to invest in the stock market. So I've been sharing that with the young people I've been coming across. Young people seem to be a little more open than some of the people that are my age, like peers and friends, that it's kind of interesting how people either respond or don't respond to the stock market advice, or a stock market information. I'll call it that. But many people are struggling, and in America, I can see how clearly that there's a wealth transfer is happening. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get left behind. Particularly, I think what's happening spiritually in that area are a lot of the pretenders, a lot of the people who do a lot of things for clout. They live a lie. They try to impress other people. They're trying to get validation through other people on things that aren't even real. Like they try to portray a certain thing. They may be like of just people who like watch a lot of internet, maybe even corn, red pill kind of energy, like just brainwashed with the matrix and just kind of stuck in, I call it the sunken place, like on what's that movie? I forgot the name of the movie. Y'all know what I'm talking about though. But anyway, those kind of energies, this age of Aquarius, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of phoniness, especially people who are tapped in. If you have any type of spirituality, you practice anything, whether it be you listen to sermons, you read the Bible, you meditate, you do different rituals for yourself. If you light a candle and you chant, or you journal, even anyone who is digging into the unseen, okay? If you're going to be able to see very clearly through surface level BS. It's going to be so obvious to you. You might be a little grossed out about it, or you might be a little like, annoyed, or, you feel like this is stupid kind of energy. So a lot of people who are stuck in that, they feel like they have to live a lie. They have to do a lot of pretending, a lot of lying, a lot of fronting, a lot of social media. Like they need a lot of attention. Those people are being exposed. I'm sorry. Or that spirit is being exposed. So people can either, like I said, get right or get left. Like you either can pick up on it and you change your ways, or you embrace that shadow in a way that's more healthy, or you'll just get stuck in it. And I'm telling you, the more that we're trying to escape reality, or escape our thoughts, or escape who we really are, the more stuck we're going to be. Because what's happening in the earthly realm is almost like intentionally going to hold you back. Like that's the goal. Definitely want to make sure that our mindsets are clear, making sure that we're focusing on our mental health, making sure that we're focusing on loving on our minds, loving on our thoughts, okay? Learning how to speak to the thoughts that don't serve us, learning how to speak to the things that have been embedded in us for so long that we just do and accept, all right? So that energy is going away, or you're going to be recognizing that it's not in alignment with you. And so you're going to be cutting it out so that you can bring in what is in alignment. And you're realizing that you're ascending, you're elevating, and you're being called to a certain level or a certain place in your life. So what I know, I've always believed in property. I've always believed that property was a very safe and secure way to wealth. I know some people get turned off by being a landlord and things of that sort. I find that being a landlord is going to work out for you more often than it's not. Of course, you're going to have people that do things, don't do things that you're going to have to deal with and things of that sort. But it kind of comes with the territory. And you have to make sure that you have checks and balances and requirements and things in place so that when you do come across those kind of issues, you know how to handle them in a way that's not going to stress you out, honestly. I mean, it's going to be stressful to some extent because it's not going the way that you intended for it to go, but at least you know how to handle it in a way that you're going to make out in the long run. So property. But if you're not in a position to buy property or flip property or anything like that, hopefully you do have a high level income, okay, or a high skill paying income. So you have a skill where you can generate a high income. All right, that's hopefully what you have in place first. If you don't have that, then that's something that you might want to focus on acquiring. You know, are you in a career or in a position, a job where you can make a good amount of money, or you can at least make money where you can pay your bills. Now, if you feel like you're making money in a business or a career and you're not able to pay your bills, you could be living above your means. But if you feel like to live at the level of means that your income requires is not in alignment with who you are spiritually and internally, then you're probably looking to do something better or something different. Like you're looking to grow. I keep looking at this because it's new, and I guess I never wear like a short sleeve shirt, but I love it. This was done by Lama Tashi. He's a Tibetan monk who does sacred tattoos and yada yada. But I mean, I don't mean to say the yada like with any disrespect. I really enjoyed him. I really love this, and yeah. But you probably can find a video on my channel. Anyway, not on my channel, not on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, you can find the video of this tattoo getting done. But it keeps grabbing my attention because this is the first time that I've been able to see it like on camera or anything. All right. So with that being said, I look at the top 10 ways that the rich become rich, or the top 10 streams of income for the rich, because the average millionaire has 6 to 7 different streams of income. Okay, and so to me, the first thing is a high skill paying job. I don't know why I feel like I have a hard time saying that. A high income skill. Yeah, a high income skill. A skill that has a high income. Okay, that's the first thing. Then the second thing is real estate. So you're able to learn how to buy property and make money off that property. Even if you live in the property, ultimately property value tends to go up. Unless we're having a recession or something like that, property value tends to go up. Even in a recession, at least when I had just purchased a home in 2008, before the market crashed, the housing market crashed in the fall of 2008. I wasn't too concerned because I had planned to be in the house for some time. So I wasn't really concerned about the value of my house dropping. But at the time, President Obama was in office, and he actually has set up for people to be bailed out of their mortgages so that you could still refinance your mortgage even though you were upside down. Upside down means that the value of your home is lower than the amount of your loan or the mortgage that you have on the house. So however much you paid for the house, since you paid or bought the house, the value of the house has decreased, which is not typically the case, but we had a housing market crash, yada yada yada, right? So I wasn't too concerned about it because I was going to be in the house for some time. So I knew by the time that I probably looked to rent the house, because I don't plan to ever sell, but you know, we'll see where life takes us. But for the most part, I would like to acquire more property. So long story short, I knew by the time I would decide to do that, the value of the house would have probably gone up because we would come out of that recession period. So, but President Obama had put, and that's something that a lot of black folks say, President Obama didn't do anything for black people. I don't know if you call it a black thing. I don't think it's a black thing, but he did do something for me, and that was to provide those mortgage programs, which allowed us as homeowners. Now, if you weren't a homeowner, then you couldn't take advantage of that. But as a homeowner, I was able to refinance my mortgage, which allows me to get a lower mortgage rate. It allows me to get a lower mortgage payment. I was able to refinance my mortgage, although the value of my home was under the value of my loan because I had just bought my house. Okay, so typically in order to refinance, where you want to lower your rate or you want to lower your mortgage payment, typically the value of your house has to be, you know, maybe 30 or 40% above the amount or the amount of your loan or the amount that you owe on your house. Okay, but President Obama created, I forget what those were called, but basically they were these programs where the mortgage companies were able to still refinance. So I was able to refinance my home probably 2 or 3 times during like that 8-year period, and got my mortgage down to like $1,100 a month. 3-bedroom, 2-story condo, 1,250 square feet, beautiful neighborhood, condo fee, but yeah, 1,100. That's cheaper than a lot of people's rent, right? So fast forward, I was able to do different things, and I'll tell you that story later. But now, so I've acquired that property as, you know, a stream of income at the moment. Like I said, I'll fill in the blank there later. Now I'm looking to invest more in the stock market. So the first time that I invested in the stock market was in 2019. I invested in a pharmaceutical, it wasn't even a pharmaceutical company. There was more like a manufacturer of pharmaceutical drugs. And I was able to turn $300 into just shy of 10 grand. I had no idea what I was doing. I just bought it and held it after reading articles and talking to friends and things like that. The stock was very cheap at the time. My friends were like, go buy it. So my friends that I can trust financially, I can talk numbers to, and want me to win, I'm going to listen to them when they tell me to do certain things. And so I did what they told me to do, and I just let it sit. And it wasn't even, I say maybe, it was definitely a little over a year, but definitely not 18 months. I say anywhere from 14 to 15 months. That stock allowed me to turn my $300 into just shy of 10 grand. And I'll share that one day as well if somebody needs to see the proof and all that good stuff. But it motivated me and it encouraged me. At the time, I then decided that I was going to take half that money, because that company ended up getting acquired and bought by a bigger company that I wasn't really interested in purchasing stock from, mostly because their stock kind of ran slower. They were more like a long-term kind of, they had like a more of a long-term growth. So I just wasn't, I've made the money and now I can go do something else with it. So that $10,000 or so, I put half back into the market in the cannabis stocks, because at that time we were legalizing marijuana, and I thought that these things were, going to take off, which some did, some didn't. They're still kind of volatile to this day, but I was able to take half of it, put it back in the market, and the other half I put in my pocket. Okay. And then that was in 2019. So like I said, so by 2020, when a lot of the world was like in bad shape, in a bad position financially, thank God I was able to come up. 2020 was a very big year for me and those around me. I know that it was very hurtful for what was happening in the world to a lot of people, but I was able to find a lot of peace, and that peace brought me a lot of prosperity during that year. And so I made some decisions to like downsize and do a few things that just made me a little uncomfortable for a couple years, but ultimately it allowed me to save, and it allowed me to accomplish my next goal. So now here we are in 2026, and I'd say for the last year, definitely all of 2025, I've been digging more into the stock market. And so I've made money off of Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, TSM, and these brands may sound like, like who are those people? But those are mostly stocks. Nvidia is the leader in AI. AMD is like second place in the AI space, next to Nvidia. The CEOs of those two companies are actually first cousins. TSM is Taiwan Semiconductor. Basically, any type of AI company or company that's manufacturing chips, they're getting the semiconductors from Taiwan. Taiwan is manufacturing all the semiconductors that pretty much go out into the world. Okay, so that's just 3 stocks right there that you can invest in. So stocks are like private companies, whereas ETFs, I think they're electronic transfer funds, or I can't remember the name, but basically ETFs are groups of stocks. And what I'm encouraging you to do is to invest. If you're looking for, if you're not somebody who's going to be looking at the market on a daily or weekly basis, and you're looking to kind of buy and hold and just let something kind of run up on its own, I highly suggest an ETF, a technology ETF. A technology ETF is going to allow you to invest in all of those companies at once. Okay. A technology ETF is going to allow you to invest in the Magnificent Seven all at once. They do have different weights, like these ETFs. They, I believe, I'll pull up a few for you, but ultimately they will invest. So that, like I said, you have the Mag 7. That's Apple, Amazon, Google, Nvidia, Tesla, Microsoft, and Meta. Those are the Mag 7. These ETFs will allow you to invest in all 7 of them at different, averages, or different percentages rather. They may invest more. They may invest maybe 6% into Nvidia, 5% into Meta, 4% into Google, that kind of thing, right? But ultimately that means that when these stocks rise, that ETF will ultimately rise. Now, if you invest in the actual stock itself, like if you go and buy Google stock, which I'm very tempted to do, and I'm going to talk through that real quick, but I'm very tempted to get into Google because I've been seeing from the people that I follow and listen to and just kind of watching how they're performing. Google is probably going to have a really good year. Okay, Nvidia has started to pull back, not a loser at all, and won't be a loser, but it has started to pull back. We have this big AI boom that has kicked off. We probably have like 4 more phases of AI to go through before we hit like an AI bubble. But this AI innovation, or this AI technology that we've just tapped into, is like the .com boom. So back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when the internet came about, Microsoft's and Apple's and those kind of companies that were being kicked off or created during that time, this is like investing in them then. Okay, so you want to kind of take a look and be able to at least add these companies to your watch list. You don't have to do all of them. If you're not interested in Tesla, but you know that you enjoy Google products, maybe even you pay for your YouTube membership, maybe you you use Instagram and Facebook as a way to like advertise your business or something like that, you might want to invest in them. You're already giving energy to them. You want them to do well because they're supporting you as well. So these are companies that you might want to invest in. The thing about stocks is that there is a higher risk with the stocks, because although a lot of them can give you returns of like 70%, like I'm not even lying, Nvidia year over year has been averaging like a 70% return. And that's all I want people to know. Like, there's no bank, no savings account, no checking account that's going to give you that kind of return in a year. They barely want to give you 4%. They'll give you 5% in a good market. But like even more, like just, we can go on and on about rates. But as far as being able to make that kind of return in a year in a bank account, it just doesn't exist. So the best way is to invest. And at this moment, with the economy that we have and the direction that we're going, we have to invest. My boys say invest or die. Sorry to put it that way, but I feel like I have a hair somewhere there. Okay, that's better. Yeah. So let me tell you where I am, and you can follow along, but go look at those Mag 7s, find you either. My first brokerage account was with E-Trade. My second ended up being with Cash App, and I have Robinhood. Okay. All of them have their perks and their quirks, I guess. Cash App I find to be very user friendly. The only problem with Cash App is that there's certain funds and different accounts that you don't get. For the most part, what we're talking about, you'll be able to access in Cash App. Oh, excuse me. But there are some funds that you will only find either under E-Trade or Robinhood. Robinhood seems to have a pretty good bag, a pretty good collection. I feel like everything I've looked for in Robinhood has pulled up. But even E-Trade is a little tricky with certain stocks, or it's not really stocks. It's more like the funds. It's certain funds you can't find but it's all good. Anyway, so what I want to share is just, I'm going to give you a few companies or a few ETFs, okay? A few ETFs and how much they make year over year. Like I said, this is more for people who are not going to look at the market every day. You're not going to look at it every week. I glance at it for a couple hours every day because I do want to be able to make options trading, which we'll also talk about in a future video. But I want to be able to make options, and options will allow we'll talk about that another time. But if you want to be able to, if you're someone who may not look at it but like once every few months or once a year even, then you might as well get something that you can buy and hold, and you can still make 10, 15, 20% a year, maybe even more on that particular stock, so, or ETF. So let me show you. So QQQ is Invesco. Invesco QQQ is an ETF, and it's a technology ETF. All right, and QQQ has Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla. Like I said, the Mag 7 is built into this fund. So as AI continues to grow, Nvidia will continue to grow. Apple has been a little late to the AI bus, but they'll show up at some point. And Apple is also a pretty good company. People love Apple, so you know they're a part of this fund. Microsoft will also benefit to some extent on the AI piece. Amazon as well. Tesla is creating robots and all kinds of things. So Tesla has actually been doing pretty good since Elon decided to kind of step away from politics. Tesla has actually been doing much better. But like I said, if I highly recommend us to be connected to companies that we morally are connect with, or don't put all your money in something that you don't really believe in, because then it'll just be like bad money. Like they say, not all money is good money. So you just focus on the ones that there will be sometimes you may invest in something and the CEO may not be a good person or something like that, and you didn't know that. But I will say, for the most part, invest in things that you already invest in. Invest in companies that you already put your money into or that you use on a daily basis. All right. So QQQ is known to give, at least at this moment, the average return on QQQ is 19%. 19% on an ETF. So you put $20 in there, when it falls back, you put $20 in there, you let it sit there at least 1 year. But on an ETF, I say at least 3. But listen, I hope 3 years doesn't sound like a long time, because it's not. A year goes by really, really fast. But we're not here putting in money that we need. We're putting in money we can afford to lose, but you're not going to lose it. We're going to just take that mindset out of there, but you want to make sure that you're being realistic. That's why I want to tell you that we're only going to purchase these at price points when they pull back. All right. And those are where I will be sharing with you those price points. Okay. So I don't have anything right now for QQQ, but the current share price of QQQ is $621.26. That probably sounds like a whole lot of money, because it is. That is not a small chunk of change. So it may take a while. Like, you want to make sure that you have a brokerage account. If you don't have, $600 and some to buy a whole share, you're using an account where you can buy fractional shares. Robinhood is tricky with that. Typically, you can only buy fractional shares on Robinhood when you're buying the stock or the shares at market price, which means the price that it's currently at. A limit price will be a price that you can set and just kind of leave it there, and once the price reaches whatever you set, it'll automatically complete the transaction for you. So I know, like I said, $600 could be a lot for buying one stock, but if you're looking to put money into, like say you have a current 401k. Now listen to me when I tell you this. I just this past June, July, I transferred my entire 401k that I had that was kind of just sitting, because I had left the company that I was with a few years ago, and I wasn't really that confident in the next company that I was with to have like a lot of profit to share. So I just kind of let it sit and do what the market did, which was fine. It gave me like 3% or so in the last few years. But in July, I decided to transfer it, once I learned, into an IRA. So I took the entire 401k and put it in an IRA. I have another 401k with my company now, so that's fine. But the one that I had been generating for, most of my career, I had just kind of let sit for a minute. And now I've transferred that entire thing and rolled it over into an IRA. And that IRA, I've been able to manage myself, and it's doing very well. Okay. Right now I'm working on consolidating. I was able to buy certain at certain price points. And so it made my portfolio pretty diverse, but I may have had like 4 shares on this or 6 shares on that, where I really want to get 100 shares on, at some point, all of what I'm invested in, but I have to start somewhere. So I want to be able to get at least 100 shares in half of what I have right now. So I'm starting to consolidate. So as some of these stocks and shares have increased in value, a lot of them have hit all-time highs. Like the NASDAQ has just hit another all-time high, which means that it's hit a price point that it never has before. Usually when they do that, they hit that price point, they may pull back. We always want to, if we see something pulling back 10% or more that we believe in, we want to go buy more if we see something pull back at 5% or more, and it's a company that we believe in, that we know is going to make money in the year or so, then we want to buy when it pulls back at 5% or more. All right. So like I said, I don't have anything in for QQQ right now. I'm fine with not necessarily purchasing from QQQ at the moment, but QQQ will allow you to invest in technology ETFs and allow you to kind of, like I said, if you can put money in on a recurring basis, so whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, whether it's $20, $50, or $100, I would say set up your plays. I call them plays. When you look at the stock for the week, and like I said, we can do this all together, but I need to know like who's interested and stuff like that. I know one of my watchers, my subscribers, Lorraine 3, is interested. So I hope that you're able to see this video and reach out to me, send me an email or anything with any questions. But ultimately what we want to do is be able to, on a weekly basis, we're sharing these price points. But if you want, you can look at the market or look at the particular shares or the account, the company, the stocks that you're looking in, and see where they are right now. Are they, is it down 2% from last week? Is it down 7% from last month? Is it down 10% for the year? Is it up 20% for the year? And see what it looks, see what number it falls at when it falls back 5%, a total of 5%. So it's already fell back 1%. I will look for it to fall back another 4%. If it's already falling back 3%, I will look for it to fall back another 2%. And whatever that price is, I'm going to set up a play to buy $20 of that stock when it reaches that price point. That's the goal, okay? So that as time goes on, these things are going to definitely, they move up in ebbs and flows. It's not like healing is not linear. Neither is this market. So most of them, okay, are going to always be on the up and up. They're going to always incline, but there will be times where they dip down, but they will still be ultimately rising. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So let me share with you what I am going to do, because I don't want this video to be too long, and I feel like I've already been talking for probably like 2 hours. But gold and silver are on the rise. Okay, I'm currently investing in SLV, which is a silver ETF, and I'm investing in AG, which is a stock. So I believe that's a single company. I don't think that's an ETF. Okay. China, I'm investing in FXI, which is a China ETF, large cap China ETF. I think that between this whole semiconductor situation and what China is trying to do, they're going to continue to increase in value as well. Of course, QQQ I mentioned. I'm also invested in the SPY. The SPY is the top 500 companies, you know, the S&P 500. Those are the top 500 plus performing companies in the US market. So I invest in them so I can get a little bit of all the companies that we consider to be like the top 500 or more. I invest in VOO. VOO is also a technology ETF, very similar to QQQ. So I'd say pick one or the other with VOO or QQQ. They're very, very similar. They perform very similarly. They've invested in the technology companies, kind of like in the same. I think Nvidia, both of them, Nvidia, you know, Nvidia is like the top. They've invested like 7 to 8% in Nvidia, and it kind of goes down from there. They're very, very close. So you don't need both of them. Like I said, they're going to perform kind of the same. VOO is known to give us an average return of about 16% year over year. All right. So there's also a gold ETF. It is GDX, I believe. Oh, GLD. GLD is a gold ETF. Gold is flying. So with this whole AI semiconductor boom that we're having, we need more metals like silver. And gold is a commodity that tends to do well at time of war, unfortunately. Commodities, people tend to invest in commodities because they have more security during times of uncertainty. So when you're concerned about the market overall not doing well, people tend to go and invest in gold because metals, precious metals, commodities, and things like that tend to become more valuable during economic downturn, economic uncertainty, and at times of war. Okay. Oil is another one, but I don't even want to get into oil right now. I'm not an expert in oil. I've only kind of been watching because I see what's happening in the world. So I kind of have started to watch. Like I've added some oil companies to my watch list. But from what I've seen them to do year over year, I don't think that any type of growth or increase in the oil space right now is going to last a long time. You might get 3 months out of it. You might get a year. You might even get 3 years out of some of them. But I'm kind of skeptical, and I don't feel like the return is going to be worth the time frame. I'd rather stick to things that I know I can do better, almost in a shorter time period. I can make more, you know, and they're just more secure. Who else? And like I mentioned, NASDAQ has hit a new all-time high this week. So NASDAQ typically gives us a 16% year over year growth. And NASDAQ focuses a lot on banking and finance. So this year, we're expecting, of course, technology to do pretty well, but energy is going to also do pretty well not a consequence, because actually what happens is we're going to build more data centers. The data centers are going to require more power, more water. So you got AI technology, you have energy such as like power, electricity, even water, excuse me, and then fuel or oil could also be in there. Like I said, that one's a little tricky, but start to pay attention, start to add some of those companies to your watch list, particularly like Chevron and maybe any ETF that Chevron is in, like XLE. XLE is an energy fund, which I think doesn't do too bad. So I would prefer to invest in like a fund or ETF versus like a oil stock like Chevron. From what I looked at recently this week, Chevron actually has lost 3% every year. So, you know, they may end up breaking even, but so that's my thoughts on the oil. All right, so I'm just going to jump in and share with you what I am looking into. This is just to give some price points. Finance. Finance is also another sector that's expected to do pretty well this year as well. So even though the US dollar is declining in value, because that's a fact, the US dollar is declining in value, we could possibly enter a recession. Our deficit continues to get bigger. I know that there is talks of tariffs and all kinds of things happening, but these things haven't really balanced or shaken themselves out to really show that they are helping the economy. So right now, our technology stocks are really what's driving and keeping our economy afloat, especially with this AI boom that we're going through. That's really it. There's other things that are going to be, like I said, a consequence of that, or it's going to require, like I said, energy, fuel, possibly. Water is going to be a big deal as well, and even in financing. Those things are going to go up as well because of this AI situation. But I'm not here to tell you to go. I'm not investing in any treasuries, any bonds, or anything like that. I never have, but from what I'm learning, I'm not interested. And what I have also learned is that a lot of our retirement accounts, a lot of those 401ks are investing in U.S. treasuries. And when you look at your 401k and you see that it only went up 3 or 4% in a year, you could have got that in a savings account or something like that. I don't think it's worth it. So if I can manage it myself and put it in much better options, or much better account, not options, but put my money in much better accounts, then I can do better than my retirement. And from the looks of it, a lot of people aren't retiring with the money that they need to really live and continue the lifestyles that they do have. So why are we doing that? Like why? Okay, so I do have a couple. So I have NASDAQ on here. So I do have a price point to buy NASDAQ if it falls back down to $94.80. So I forget what that is, but it probably is about 5% less than what the price was like last week. So I typically look at the weekly high, the weekly low, and then I decide, okay, I'm going to put a certain amount of money on this stock if it pulls back 5% from the weekly high, or maybe even the monthly high. But I also may look at I look at how much this stock is going to make me year over year, and how far is it from that amount currently. If it's going to make me 20% this year and it's down 10%, that's probably a good place to buy, especially if it drops any less than that. So I have a play in right now to buy NASDAQ at $94.80. I probably had this play in before last week, because lately, because the market has been doing a lot of like consolidating and correcting a little bit, I've been putting my plays in. Usually they go from week to week, so I put them in on Sundays. They run till Friday. I put in new ones on Sunday again. They run to the next, just weekly. But now I've been putting them in for like 30 days, just kind of giving it a little more time to hit that price point. So this $94.80 could possibly be a place where NASDAQ will, come back in, or fall back to, and I can get in at a good price. Okay. Netflix. So Netflix is a little tricky because I invested in Netflix because Netflix was on the run last year. So I invested in Netflix, but then this whole talk with Netflix buying Warner Brothers and things like that, people have been selling off. So the stock has been dropping like 20%. But I'm not scared. And from what I've been hearing from the people that I listen to, they're also saying that it's going to go back up to $100. Netflix last year, before it split 10-1. So it was at over $1,200. I think it got up to like $1,400 for one stock. One share was like $1,400. And then it did a 10-for-1 split. So it divided that by 10. So now the stock was like $120. But with the whole thing with Warner Brothers, it has allowed people, like I said, people have been selling off. They were going back and forth. It looked like Netflix was going to lose the deal, but now it sounds like they're moving forward with Netflix now. So, a lot of people have confidence that Netflix will go back up. But I heard one of my guys actually give a price point for Netflix, and he said to buy Netflix at $77.70. And that sounds like a really, really, really low number from, you know, even where it's at right now. But these things do have a tendency to drop. February is also considered to be like a low month in the stock market, a month where things really pull back. So it is a good time to position yourself. I've also heard my astrologer, Lori Lothian, she had another astrologer named Christina. I think she's from Hungary, and she's like a financial forecaster using astrology. And she basically was talking about how we're going to have like this 6-week period in February, between February and like April, where the market is going to pull back significantly. She mentioned crash, but she also talked about how energy, AI, technology, like those things are still going to go up. So there are some recession-proof stocks, recession-proof ETFs that we can invest in that won't necessarily reflect what the market is. So if we are in a recession, they may not necessarily show that recession to a deficit. You know, it may be a little bit lower of a return, but they probably will still continue to go up. Versus what the economy is doing overall, if that makes sense. So Netflix, if you're looking or you believe in Netflix, we have a price point to buy Netflix at $77.70. And then SoFi. SoFi is, of course, a finance stock, and so as far as financial stocks altogether are expected to do pretty well this year as well. For what I've been seeing on SoFi, they've been doing pretty good, and I have a price point. I have an order in to buy SoFi at a price point of $25.40. Okay, you can put whatever amount of money you want on these. Well, it depends, as long as you're creating your plays from a platform that allows you to do fractional shares. All right. I could go on and on, but we want to save that for like a separate call, because it's going to make these spiritual calls very lengthy. But we prosper as our souls prosper. And if you know that you are destined for greatness, then you're going to have to know how to manage money. And if you know that you are destined for wealth, then you're going to have to know how to continue to allow your money to work for you. And that's what we're doing over here at MiSpot. So if you want to connect with me one-on-one, you're looking for spiritual coaching, maybe even a Reiki session, or you're interested in a reading or oracle message, please feel free to reach out to me. Everything about me is in the description box. You can email me, follow me on Instagram for, you know, inspirational and educational posts and things of that sort. But you can always come over here and find me here on a weekly basis as we celebrate the moon cycles and allow ourselves to be in flow with the energy and not forcing any energy. Okay, so always go within so you never go without. I love you, but God loves you more. And over here, we stay connected to the ones that sit high, look low, and see everything. Thanks for coming out. God bless you, and good night. And I'll see you here next week.